Welcome to Anatomy of a Business, a discussion of the businesses that serve our community, focusing on the challenges and the successes. I'm Bud Myers from the Virginia Breeze Broadcasting Company, and joining me today is Barry Moore, the CEO and President of the Better Business Bureau of Central Virginia. Barry, thanks for being here today.
Welcome to the Better Business Bureau.
Appreciate
and we thank all the consumers for starting at bbb.org, and Bud, for you coming up with this concept, Anatomy of a Business, so we can help ABs, accredited businesses, outshine and differentiate themselves versus competitors that are not accredited.
Well, today is going to be fun because I love being involved with family businesses and businesses that are smaller in nature but have big aspirations and ones that try to do the job as well as it can possibly be done. And that's what we've got today. I have Flora Russell from Alpha Tek Electric here with me today. Hi, Flora.
Hi, Bud.
How you doing?
Happy to be here.
That's good. So, you know, your business actually incorporates over 30 years of experience, but you're sort of coming into your own. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and let's start it off with, well, how did you arrive here in Richmond kind of thing?
Yeah. I came to Richmond to attend VCU.
Okay. A Ram.
Yes, fellow Rams. I enjoyed my experience at the VCU School of Business, got a degree in marketing. I also went through their innovation program at the Da Vinci Center, which was great. They, which got me like the startup bug and entrepreneurship kind of bug early on going to school.
Tell us a little bit about that program.
Yeah. Well, it's a master's program, and they help students develop ideas and take them to market and kind of look at all the different aspects of business. They have some tech focus, but you can bring whatever business ideas you like to the program. I did their undergraduate certificate program.
Okay.
And kind of tacked that on to just my bachelor's degree, but that was kind of an intro to the master's program that gives you it's cross-functional. So they take students from different departments and bring them together to work on projects together to give them that experience of working with a business, growing a product, researching something, and developing it, and then you get to present it back.
That's very interesting. Now, you actually were not in the Richmond market. You'd done some traveling.
Yeah. My family is from the Tidewater area.
Okay.
But growing up, my mother just had the travel bug and would seek opportunities. So we spent a little bit of time in Canada and Bermuda. And also beyond that, I've done a little traveling myself. I've been to Asia and Europe and Mexico. I have a long list of places, new places to explore, but I've been fortunate and I love adventure.
Well, that's a hard life there, Flora. So what did VCU brought you? What attracted you to VCU?
That's a good question. I think my sister actually came here first to go to school, and after visiting her, I started looking at the school for myself and decided it's far enough away where I could feel independent at the time as a young adult, but still close enough to home where I could still have my parents, a great relationship with my family, so I still wanted to be close enough, but feel some sense of independence. And my sister is my twin, so we're best friends, and it was great having that college experience with her. And the city it's got a lot of charm to it. There's a lot of great local businesses. The food scene is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does your sister finish your sentences?
Occasionally. Yeah, sometimes. We'll call each other at the same time. Sometimes we'll be thinking about each other or have the same thoughts. Yeah, it's...
So when you have this degree in marketing, but what were you leaning toward? What kind of life did you envision? What do you think you were going to do?
That's a really good question, actually, because I think, when you're young, you feel like you got to pick one thing and stick with it. Mm-hmm. And I explored. I did more exploring and figured out, kind of found my way to business and operations, and even now entrepreneurship. I never really thought I'd be doing this, owning a business or trying to grow my own. But just having the ability to try different things was...
Flexibility.
Yeah, it's... I mean, when I was little, I wanted to be a doctor, but realized that, blood wasn't quite my thing. But
A doctor on Bermuda wouldn't have been bad,
There's plenty of opportunities for medical field, and I admire people that go into it. But I decided after some exploration there that wasn't for me, and then found my way to business, and just love that there's different sides to a business, right? There's the marketing side. I found that so interesting, in the psychology around buying and getting in front of people at the right time, and crafting the message to get your point across, really showing the benefits and the value of your product instead of just barking what it is that you're selling.
Right.
I will say I'm not the salesperson. I tried that, was not quite my favorite thing, and eventually actually
You
found
fooled me.
Well, thanks.
So let's narrow it down a little bit. So now this company that you're with, how did this get started?
Yes, my husband, who is the master electrician,
His name is?
His George Parnavis.
I had to get that plug in for George.
Thank you. Yeah, he's great. He's from Greece, and actually in Greece he's an electrical engineer. And yeah, he's done it all his life. That was his trade. But when he moved here, his degree didn't transfer, and so after exploring, he decided to go the trade route. But his experience spans electrical from small projects to huge projects. He's done warehouses. He's worked for a couple of small and even one larger company here in Richmond doing different types of electrical work. Okay. And after a little bit helping friends and community members out on the side with some electrical projects, decided it was time to start his own thing. And seeing some of the work that's done, and hearing stories about people's experiences with contractors, he just really felt that he could be that trusted source. He takes a lot of pride in his work, and just wants to do good. He knows the code. He'll recite you,
Right.
code and how things are meant to be, which blows my mind. I don't know how he memorizes it all, but he just wanted to make sure things are safe, because electricity is... I'm not an electrician, but I know that's something you got to be really careful with.
Absolutely.
If you're going to DIY, you might want to be a little bit cautious when it comes to electricity and fire hazards. But he really wanted to help people and make sure that their situations, their electrical was safe, and do things the right way. It's very important to him.
So what did he do or say to convince you to start a business?
It took me a while to actually come on board full time. It was actually me who convinced him to start his own business.
Really?
Yeah. I was the original investor and pushed him to...
Motivator.
Yeah. And in the beginning, it was a lot of research, trying to figure out how to start the entity, what licenses, certifications are necessary, getting the business insurance. So it took some time, but... Did you
have help in there? I mean, did you have any legal assistance?
We just supported each other.
Okay.
I think I have operations background too, and my experience with a couple startups in the area just helped me with project management. The research phase of things,
okay,
and then the planning phase of things. So we kind of helped out with, what do we need to find out?
Okay.
Doing the research. What steps do we need to do? What are the resources available to take those steps? Where do we get the right information? And there's a lot of forms in the beginning, honestly.
I know. We had to do that too with a breeze. So you're obviously a startup stage here. What kind of environment helped you here? Richmond, I think you said that seemed to be pretty helpful and what you were doing.
After college, I worked for a local startup, and they have a great startup community here with a lot of resources. So early on, when I was figuring out what I wanted to do, that was just a great behind the scenes look and great experience on my part of like what it takes to really build a business and how to build a network and what are the resources available to business owners. And that's how we found the BBB too. Just, what resources are available and how can we leverage those and build connections and be a part of the community.
So you spend a lot of time networking.
Yeah, we try to. It's very important to us. There's a lot of great people out there that are doing great stuff. We want to meet them and figure out how we can support each other.
Okay, so you decide you want to start the business. You go to acquire all the necessary licenses. And so what do you think as you got into the stage to actually start and begin do work out there? What was one of the biggest hassles that you had or biggest problems that you had when you started?
Let's see. I guess figuring out where to invest your dollars to grow is one thing that we're constantly reevaluating, and can be. And there's no formula for how to build a business, how to make sure people know about you.
You didn't get the handbook? Barry's got it. Barry wrote it, I think.
Oh, I want to know the secrets. Please share. Yeah. I wish there was a handbook. It is
School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of love a challenge though. It can be discouraging, and but figuring out, like making that breakthrough, finding the answer to the problem, which, took us a while. We're 5 years old and we're still figuring it out. And, you have ups and downs. And we had some good years, some like slower years, and that's okay, but it can get discouraging. But you got to find the right formula and even like tweak the formula. Yeah.
So do you have actually a marketing budget?
A very small. We've tried digital ads, social ads, but honestly, the biggest thing that we've seen for our business is the networking and connections and community being so small.
Right.
Because you're competing with such large companies that have large budgets. So we're trying to be crafty. So we've done a little bit of the social, but have seen the greatest return.
So let's talk about networking for a while. Okay. So where do you see the biggest effort comes in networking, like a follow-up system, or how do you milk it?
Milk the networking?
Yeah.
I would say just be curious. Like, we go into it wanting to learn about other people's businesses, and I think people, people want to share. So we go in wanting to learn, wanting to create relationships, and some people don't have the time and space for it, but there's a lot of people out there that really do just want to meet like-minded people and have people that they can connect with, talk to when they either need support or have ideas they want to talk through. And it also, being in the trades, we've seen a lot of great contractors that they get questions and they want to be able to refer someone that they can trust. So having, a network of trades folks has been great for us, of just people you can trust that support and kind of feed into, have that connecting, not only the work ethic, but connecting jobs and way to organize. So that's, it takes time, I will say, to make those connections. But when you find the right people, it almost feels easy.
It's the saying, fish where the fish are. That's the first thing, right? And you mentioned something about a budget and expenses. And one thing, as an accredited business, what I tried to share always, there's two purposes of an expense. If it doesn't fit, it's not a good expense. Reduce another expense or generate gross profit. Period. End of story. So there's a lot of salespeople out there, and your time is a commodity, and people don't value that. And so for you today to be here and George not, that was a good decision, right? He's out turning wrenches, as I call it in the car business, but he's fixing something, and you're here, and that's working in a partnership. So I'm so happy. And I think that's a big part of anatomy of the business, learning that and sharing it.
So you have said at least 100 times since you've been here the word trust. And when I look at your website, trust and satisfaction guaranteed, high ethics, obviously is a big part of how you've instilled your culture as a business. Why don't you tell me about that a little bit?
Yeah. We are or have been DIYers, but have had some experiences with other trade folks, and I think a lot of people have had some experience or seen something when they're doing work at their house that looks a little sketchy, and having someone that you can trust to do the job right if you don't know about what you're doing is important to us. And so we always make sure that if we're doing, no matter what the job is, we have a conversation with our customer to let them know what's going on and what we need to do to fix it, or how we're going to go about doing a project. Because this kind of like consult is important, I think, to building the trust we've seen. We've gotten great feedback from customers about that.
You have great Google reviews.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've been fortunate to have great customers who want to learn. Right? I mean, if it's not for you, it's okay, but we're still going to provide the information to you. Because it's just peace of mind. Electrical, you don't really think about it until you have to.
Right.
And sometimes we open up walls and we see some things that are scary, and like we want people to know that what's back there isn't going to start a fire or like cause any problems, or that it's going to work properly. So yeah, it's ingrained in us. Our tagline is integrity first, and we take that seriously, not just with the work that we do, but in our character as well, and how we interact with people. We live by that.
I can see that. One of the things that always got me is that one of the great marketing people came up to me and says, "Think about tires." You don't think about tires. You don't think about anything about tires until you need to buy a tire, right? And then you don't know much, but you have to buy it. And it's sort of like that electrical thing is behind the wall, right?
Yeah.
Who thinks about electrical situations? You don't. You don't until you need it. And then you really don't have a lot of education as to how to select even to get the answer.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the internet is a great thing, but there's so much information out there too that you have to sift through it. And there's a lot of people, what are they called? Couch quarterbacks? The people that think they know what they're
not
talking
out there.
about. They don't know what they're talking about. So you have to be careful. It's good to have a trusted expert source. So,
Okay.
we want to be that for your electrical, but it's no matter what you're doing, you want to be just have a trusted source. And,
Okay.
Yeah, get the information you need.
So let's talk a little bit about someone who is owning a business. In your marketing background, you said that you've also done operations.
Yes.
Okay. What about the P&L side? What about the financial side? How did you strap that on?
This is we've had a couple people that we've worked with, and I'm learning. This is something that I've been fortunate. I think financial literacy is important, and I've been good at this for my personal finances. Business finance is it's something I want to know more about, and have been trying to teach that to myself, but still find people that we can leverage for bookkeeping and taxes and financial strategy is even, like how do you make sure you're spending the money to grow in the ways that you want to grow. So I do think it's worth having advisors there if you don't feel comfortable with it. We've leveraged some advisors, but I do want to learn more, have been learning more about that, because if you're not putting your dollars to good use, then you're not growing. Your business isn't sustainable.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you get the dollars? In other words, how do you evaluate the profit margin? How do you evaluate the job and that sort of thing?
And sometimes you're gonna have to take a loss either to build the right relationship, or sometimes things don't go according to plan. We admit like we've made mistakes. I think building a business, that's natural. You got to accept it. But we have a decent formula, and like we make sure we're looking at how much the materials cost for the job, how much time the job is going to take, and not like time sourcing materials if we need to source them. There's drive time involved, and there's time to do the actual project. And then all of the background systems, right? You have to pay for insurance, and if there's a marketing budget, we budget for that. It's a lot, but it's, you just make sure a certain portion of what you're investing, you get a return on. And we made some smart choices.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a lot to look at, and you have to evaluate your pricing. Even, the way the cost of everything changes so quickly, especially now, you just always have to be evaluating, and we're just
So component cost obviously fluctuates big time.
Yeah, depending on what the project is. We've seen the price of certain materials go up and down depending on what's happening with the supply chain or what's going on with the world. So that's always something you have to keep an eye on in our field of we have standard pricing and want to make sure that's transparent, but we also have to make adjustments when outside things affect.
So you've been now in business 5 years?
Yes.
Okay, so have you got to a point now where you can see, well, we need to expand a bit or add personnel? Where do you make that choice?
Yeah. This is something that we want to do strategically, and we've had discussions just at the beginning of this year. Okay, we're ready to try to grow and reach more people and, bring on other team members. We haven't hit that point yet where it makes sense. We're still my husband and I do a pretty good job of separating responsibilities and can be efficient. But we know to grow, you have to delegate. We're slowly getting there, and I think our marker we've discussed is just how many weeks booked out do we want to be? We stay pretty consistent, but we want to book out a month in advance, and then feel like that's a good time to.
So that's the way you think you'll make a decision when you.
We'll reevaluate when that happens, but that's what our current goal is, to expand and bring another team member on, figure out because it's just the two of us, so. We don't have HR, and this is a small business, but once you start adding people, there's a whole nother side of the business you have to look at and more responsibilities to add on to. So we're researching we're still exploring what's necessary before we bring anybody on too. We want to be confident there.
Well, see, this is the thing that is why I enjoy this conversation, because in the next conversation I'm going to have, we're talking about someone who deals on the federal level and talks to leadership and tries to confine leadership to be successful based on a very stringent set of formulas. Okay? You don't have that, I want to say, the flexibility of having everything written down and everything out there. You've got to make it up on the fly in a lot of cases. When you bring that next employee in, though, you have to start thinking about the culture of your business, because that person has got to be an extension of you.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So have you got any thought on that? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No, we've thought about that, having a handbook, and it comes in the evaluation process, too, when you're interviewing people, of do they share the same values? We have a few people in mind in our network that we've considered, asking, and we've, tapped into that of would they be interested. But, building a handbook is probably our first thing, just making sure, to me and my husband, our mission, our vision, our values is kind of obvious, but how do you make sure that you're communicating that in a way and creating the culture is, it's very important. but finding the right people too.
Well, the other part of that, and it's when you, again, you're such a small company, you don't have a quality control division, right?
Yeah.
So who looks at George? You know, how do you make sure that final product is right?
Yeah.
And then you add somebody else, and how are you going to protect your culture and protect that level of service?
Yeah. There is the word trust again. There is a level of trust. I think when you hire people, you do have to be able to delegate and know that they're going to be doing the right job. And I mean, George and I check each other, but we trust the quality of each other's work. And but yeah, trust. I would say just
It's going to have to be.
Yeah, because Bud's right. You got a promise on your website,
Oh.
and you're gonna double your employee headcount by adding one person or two people out in the field. So great question and great. You need to think about that going into it. It sounds like you already are. So
Oh, yeah.
congratulations.
thanks.
Well, it's again, I love talking about this because when you talked about the startup community, do they think about how important they are, not just to each other, but to the community itself? Is there talk about what they can do for the community? Again, I know you're such the beginning of the business. It's hard to think about that, expanding out into the community and helping the community. But had there been talk, or had you heard folks, or have your own plans of what you can do to be a resource for the community?
Yeah, well, even opportunities like this, just sharing our experience, hopefully it helps somebody out. I mean, we're still figuring out so much of it, but I think that's part of being an entrepreneur is there's so much to learn, and you learn by doing.
Right.
So you got to just do it.
Right.
But yeah, just hearing other people's stories, I think is a great way for us being small. But we're always seeking opportunities, looking at different organizations similar to the BBB to figure out how we can get involved. We've had a couple conversations with some of the trade schools around here to, at the time when we're hiring, like how can we, either go and speak to their students just to share our experience about what it's like in the field, or leverage that as a way to train people and get them up to speed and bring them on. But yeah, it depends on your business,
Right.
And what you do, and then you go from there, like what resources are available to you.
Well, Flora, I really have enjoyed talking to you today. I'd like to know, just as a final thought, someone who's getting ready to make that step to get into their own business, okay, what advice would you give them?
Oh, that's a good one. Something that I always go back to that my mother said to me is, you got to invest in yourself and bet on yourself, and I think that was always just be confident that you'll figure it out. That's my advice. Like, if you really want to do something, no matter what it is, but especially if you want to own your own business, you have to be comfortable with ambiguity. You got to bet on yourself, and I always kind of go back to that. So just, it might take time, but you'll figure it out. It's kind of I have a couple mantras, but you'll figure it out is one of my favorites. So just keep going, keep pushing.
Showing up is so big. Just show up. Well, out there, if you have needs for any kind of residential electrical service, and that's putting a switch in to doorbells, or how about a HVAC split unit, home networking, electrical maintenance. I mean, there's just so much. You need to go to the website and just find out everything that can be done, and these people can do it with great integrity. So, Flora, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can give us a call. Our phone number is 804-620-7178. We're happy to chat through any projects. You can also go to our website. We have a form there, and we list all our services on the site, but you can contact us through our website. It's alphatekelectric.com. It's alphatekelectric.com. Yeah, we'd love to hear about what your projects are and see if we can help.
I think it would be great. Thanks so much. We appreciate it, Flora, for you coming in, taking the time. Folks, thank you for listening to Anatomy of a Business. We'll be again next week. We'll be right back with Barry. Thanks, and you guys stay safe. Bye-bye.